Hello, and welcome back to my breast explant journey. I'm Carla Marie, and after 10 and a half years, I've decided to take out my implants. And of course, I'm doing a podcast and video series about it. In this mini series, I'll have a different guest on each episode that are related to the world of breast implants or breast implant illness. In this episode, I have a woman I have known for about 9-10 years, Marissa Gonzalez, or as you may know her, Lala. She and her twin sister, Lulu, used to host a show for iHeartRadio's KTU in New York. You may also recognize the both of them from CBS's Amazing Race. So cool if you've never watched their season. It's awesome seeing them both on there. Lala has shared her breast explant story on NBC New York, WOR Radio, her own Instagram, her own YouTube channel, which has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to explanting. I'm going to link that below. I highly recommend checking it out. But Lala and sharing her story is the reason I even know about Dr. Rankin. And her putting it all out there is one of the final reasons and driving force as to why I decided to explant. She is one of the kindest humans I know. So let's meet Lala.
Hi.
Okay, hi Lala. So you are, I don't want to say you're the reason I'm getting my breasts explanted, but you are kind of like, you were the pushing point for me. You were like the last, okay, I'm doing this. So thanks.
Oh, you're very welcome. Glad I can help.
I know you have been so much help in this process, but this is all about you. And I want to know, why did you get implants the first time? Because you got them twice.
Yes, I did. Stupid mistake. Lesson learned. A very expensive lesson to learn.
Yes.
So, when I think about it, I don't really know why I even got the breast implants to begin with, because I think back now and like my boobs were fine. They were nice and like perky. They weren't big, but they weren't small either. And I guess I just a little bit of, us women, sometimes we get in our heads and we get insecure, and perhaps past relationships maybe didn't help that either. And so you kind of just get in your own head and you think it's what you want and you think it's what you need. And then you go through with it, and then it ends up being a nightmare.
Yeah, so what was that nightmare? What happened after your first surgery?
So after the first surgery, I was all happy. I'm like, wow, this is great. Look at me. I'm sexy. I'm buying, cute little shirts and outfits. I even went to Spain, to Ibiza, and I'm like, doing the whole girl thing.
The booby tour.
But then soon after, it was only like 2-3 months later, I believe. I don't even remember now because it's just been such a blur, that one of them fell out of pocket. So basically, I was like this. And if I didn't...
One was higher than the other.
Yeah, because one of them had fallen. And if I didn't have a bra on, it looked weird. Like, it just wasn't even. And that didn't help me feel good about myself. Was that painful
when that happened?
No. It wasn't painful, but it was noticeable.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't, all these cute things I have got that I went and bought, I'm like, I can't wear this. Like, this looks really bad. And so I went back to the surgeon and I said, hey, listen, it's uneven. He's like, oh, it fell out of pocket. That sometimes could happen. Because, when you first initially go and get like a consultation for breast augmentation, they always tell you there's a risk for this, there's a risk for that. They didn't tell me any risks about cancer or anything.
No.
So I'm like, all right. He's like, I'll fix it. I won't charge you, but you will have to pay for anesthesia and hospital bills again. So he was like ignoring me. And I don't know if because he felt guilty about that happening, or maybe he was just very busy. I just didn't like the fact that he wasn't getting back to me as soon as I would have liked him to. Like, I'm a patient.
And that's a scary situation. Yeah.
You have to fix me and you're ignoring me. So after that, I'm like, I'll just go find another doctor.
Oh.
Which meant I had to pay a whole new fees. Yeah.
Okay, so what year did you get the original implants?
2018.
Okay, so that's what's also crazy is when I got mine in 2013, there were also so many, I feel like there were other regulations in place by the time you got yours. And even then you said there were warnings that you weren't given.
Nope.
No.
not at
Okay.
all.
So second
So
doctor.
second doctor was the doctor that my sister used, my older sister used, and my cousin, and
Mhm.
they looked fine. They never had issues. They never had problems. Well, my cousin
Yeah.
did, but
Like it.
at the time she still didn't have anything.
Mhm.
And of course, I paid for another set of implants.
Jesus.
He suggested I go bigger because he told me that the reason the first one fell out of pocket was because this was very wide and perhaps the
Mhm.
implant wasn't big enough, and that's why it fell. I should have known that's not a reason.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many women that talk about their plastic surgeons pushing them to go bigger.
Bigger.
And
Yeah.
even when they didn't want to, mine wanted me to go bigger than I wanted to. And the morning of the surgery, I decided to go smaller. Thank God, because they would have been even bigger than they are now.
Wow, I wish I would have been as smart as you because when I woke up and I saw these huge balloons, I'm like, what is this? And I went through around the nipple and I
Oh,
had
wow.
blisters, like
What?
blisters all around the nipple. And I remember just my mom's expression, my sister kind of like, oh no, it looks, you're good. But I knew, I'm like, this shouldn't be like this. It
No.
should not be like this. It was very painful. And that, what can I do? I had already gone through with it. They're inside of me. I'm all stitched up already. I have to just heal.
Yeah, but okay, so did you heal from that surgery?
I did.
Okay.
I did heal from that surgery. Um, but you know how they tell you to massage them so they could become nice and
Yes.
soft and feel like they're real? Mine never got to that point.
That's
I think,
crazy.
yeah, my body immediately, I just knew it from the beginning, just kind of went, this is not good because they became very hard, embarrassing hard. Like you could
Really?
tell, yes.
So your body
They
was
were,
rejecting both pairs.
yes, my body was rejecting. I should have known from the beginning, but stubbornness and, I've spent all this money. I might as well just continue to spend money
Right.
and go through with it.
And
But
your sister, so your identical twin sister was also very vocal, at
yes.
least. So you have all these YouTube videos about the explant process. And in that process, she was just so not pissed that you explanted them, pissed that you got them in the first place. And I loved how honest she was. But you did have people in your life that were like, you don't need to get breast
Oh,
implants.
100%, 100%. Even my boyfriend was like, I mean, I think you're fine, but if this is going to help you,
Right.
if this is going to make you feel better, I'll support it. But again, stupid decision.
Mm-hmm.
And my twin was like, she didn't even come with me to the consultations because she's like, I don't approve of this, so I'm not going to go with you.
Wow. But
Yeah.
we'll get into it. She was there for the explant. She was there for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so how soon after getting your second set did you start feeling sick?
I think, well, that's also when the pandemic started. So
Mm.
that's actually when I started realizing that I'm like, something's wrong. I am not one to get migraines, and I would get constant migraines where I felt like my head is gonna like explode.
Wow.
And I'm like, why? Why is this happening to me? I don't understand. Kind of irritable. I'm a happy person, Even when I'm upset, like I'm mad, like I look
Right,
happy.
right.
So I started becoming very like bitter, and I didn't understand why. Like, why am I so agitated so quickly over things? Rash. The rash was very annoying. It was all over my eyes.
That's like when you say your eyes, so your like eyelids and under your eyes?
Like on top of my eyes, it was like this rash of like patchiness and flaky around here, all over my neck, over here.
Oh my God.
And I went to 2 different dermatologists. They, gave you a cream or whatever to put on. It didn't go away. It just was there.
And you thought
I
it was
put
like your
on,
makeup and stuff.
thought it was my makeup. I'm like, all right, let me start changing it up. As you get older, your skin changes. I'm thinking maybe this is it. It was not it. I tried, I don't know how much different foundations and lotions and moisturizers, and it was the same thing.
And then you got the scariest symptom I think you had was heart palpitations.
Yes. So of course, in this entertainment world, it could be very hectic and complicated, and you have a lot weighing on you. So I thought, oh, this is just work. It has me anxious and,
Yeah.
stressed out or whatnot. And deep down inside, I knew, like, why is it like just racing so, like, every so often, just all of a sudden, heart palpitations. And I kept ignoring it because I kept thinking it's just stress and work and lack of sleep or
Of course.
whatnot.
How often were they happening?
Pretty often, which I think back now, like, why did you ignore yourself? Like, your body was talking to you and you just kept brushing it off.
I didn't even know that was a symptom until you told me it was one of your main ones after I had already decided to explant. And
Yeah.
that when you told me that, I was in complete shock because I have been getting them for the last year. Heart issues do run in my family, but it happened out of nowhere. And I'll be sitting here super calm, not even working, just chilling out, nothing crazy, no caffeine that day, and it starts. And I'm like, what is going on? I work out, I take care of myself. What is happening? And then you said that, and I was like, I need to get these things out ASAP.
And I don't know about you, but sometimes the heart palpitations that I would get would be sometimes something that I would have to be like, like,
no, mine aren't
stuff
that
like
bad.
that.
I do notice that I'm like, sometimes I need to catch my breath more, but I'm always like, okay, maybe it is just anxiety. I'm going into this whole thing of if nothing changes when I get them out, that's fine. I still want them out. And if other things do change, that's great.
Yes, because there are women that do take them out, but they have, other underlying symptoms that perhaps implants just made it so much more worse. And it does take a long time to recover depending on how severe your symptoms are.
What type of implants did you have that second time?
Both silicone.
Okay.
Silicone. I didn't even know that there was jelly. No, I knew of saline, but then there's like the gummy.
That's what I have.
The jet. I had no idea that even existed. I thought it was just silicone and saline.
Yeah, the gummy ones are also a type of silicone, from what I understand. Yeah. So
right,
yeah,
but
I have those.
It's like different. It's actually more like
gummy,
real,
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had silicone. When did you first say, or when did you know that it was breast implant illness, or what was that discovery process like?
It was actually speaking with my cousin who also had breast implants, and her symptoms were pretty bad. I mean, she had like arthritis, joint pain, the same thing, heart palpitations, rashes. Her rashes were even worse than mine, all over her body, red. So she started talking about that, and I'm like, this is something maybe I should look into. Wow. And then I had another girl that I follow on Instagram that lived in Florida that she had just gone through it, and she was posting symptoms she had. So I'm like, hold on now, this could be something. Maybe I should look more into, like, really research and see if this is what's going on with me. So my cousin and I started researching and figuring out, like, is this a real thing, or is this just, propaganda or whatnot?
And so you guys decided to go through the explant together, same day, with Dr. Rankin, which, again, you can watch this on the YouTube channel. The link is in the description of this podcast. It's cool that you guys got to go through this together. It's also cool because you did have a bit of different process going into it and coming out of it. And I think it's great for people to see that. Yeah.
It's funny because her symptoms were a lot worse. She was just, get these out of me. I don't care if I stay looking flat. I don't care how it looks. Just, I want them out. And I was still a little bit more like, I don't know. Maybe I could just get another set. I'll take out a loan or something. I was still, because I was worried, like, what is this going to look like now? I've already done it. Like, that was my biggest fear. Yeah. Like, what is my boyfriend going to think? Or like just really, what am I going to look like? And it's a normal feeling to have as a girl. Like, it's part of you, and you want to feel sexy, and you want to make sure that things look nice on you for your own, mental health.
I don't want to say that I'm scared, because I'm not scared as to what it's going to look like. I have concerns because I just don't know. But I have people like you that are like, you're going to be fine. You're going to look great no matter what. So now we're going to talk more about the explant, but post-explant, how do you feel about the way that they look?
I love it. Okay. I didn't realize before, like I'm able to wear so much more stuff now because when I had the big balloons, like I call them, I couldn't wear many things because it would look vulgar, and I didn't
Okay,
like that.
we need to talk about this because I've had this conversation with two other friends who are in their 30s, and I don't know what it is. No one's making me feel like I can't show my boobs. No one's like, oh my God, look at the way you're dressed. That doesn't happen. There's something where I'm like, I'm an adult now, and this is not the vibe I'm going for. And it's
Right?
it's weird because it also makes you sound like you're trying to cover up because you're older, and it's not that.
No,
There's just
no,
something where like, I don't need to do this anymore.
right. Yeah, and when I mean vulgar, I mean it's nice to show off a little cleavage,
Yes.
no matter what age you are. But because mine were so hard and big, it looked like I looked like a to me, I looked like a porn star.
And
And
it's crazy because I don't really remember that happening.
no, yeah. And again, nothing against,
Yeah, I mean, of
porn
course.
stars or
It's
nothing. I'm
not
not
the
trying to
vibe
offend
you were
anyone.
going for.
But it's definitely not the vibe I was going for. And my twin sister would buy a dress, I'd buy the same thing, and it would not look the same. I would either have to go up a size or just not buy the dress at all because it was a complete like, okay, the dress sits nice on you. Meanwhile, it looks like I should go, you know, where's my pole? Just,
Which again, totally fine, but that's not the look you
not my
wanted.
thing. Not my thing. That's not what, I wanted.
Okay, so you go through the explant. You're in
Mhm.
Florida with your sister and your mom taking care of both you and your cousin.
Yes.
Afterwards, how did you feel?
Immediately after the surgery, I mean, I was happy. I was extreme. I danced out of Dr. Rankin's office, but it was just like a relief. And I know you'll probably feel the same
Mm-hmm.
way, but to me, it was like a relief. Like, all right, this is out of me. Um, I started feeling very like, in a way, like you go through it. Like, why did I put myself through this?
Yeah.
My grandmother had breast cancer twice, and then I started thinking, here I am in a position where I could have gotten myself
Mm-hmm.
so sick, all because for what? For what, really? No, there was really no valid excuse.
Okay, I am asking everyone this question.
Mhm.
How do you feel about people getting implants now? Are you kind of like, no one should get implants, don't do it? Or where's your stance on this?
Well, I am no one to tell anyone what they should and shouldn't do to their bodies. What I am here to say is that I highly recommend you do your research, right? Because the same way that I decided to get breast implants, and there was not a single soul that could tell me otherwise, because I
Mm-hmm.
was so honed in on it.
Yeah.
You know, I am never going to tell someone, no, don't do it. What I will tell them is, I suggest you highly do your research and really think it through the long term effects of the implants. Will it be worth it? Anyone that gets breast implants, eventually you're either going to have to switch them up after 10 years or just take them out or something. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee they're going to last forever. So, when in 10 years, where are you going to be in life?
Yeah.
Are you going to have kids? Are you going to be, you just don't know. So that's what I always tell people. Just really consider the good and the bad and really look into the bad because that's
So,
really going to be a determining factor.
and you and I both got implants, not necessarily for me on a whim, but it was very much like, yeah, I just want them. I'm just going to do it, whatever.
Yeah.
But there are women that go through breast cancer, get mastectomies, have absolutely no breast tissue left over, and their insurance companies offer them free implants, which it's so weird because it's like, well, if these things are going to make you sick and you were just sick, should you put
Hmm.
these inside of you? But also, I understand
Right.
wanting to have that.
Yes, and my sister and I we've hosted the breast cancer work for many years, and I've spoken to many survivors. So I understand those people. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they don't have a choice, or sometimes they have other illnesses that right now that's the only choice they have, and then eventually they find another solution. I know they have like the where they get fat from your belly or from anywhere, and then they take the implants out, fill it up with your own tissue or fat or whatnot. But again, I can't tell
Yeah,
people
I
what to
know.
do. I just can speak on my experience and what I think and what I went through. But for those that have gone through breast cancer, though that's a whole different ball game. That is dealing with like medical issues and
Hmm.
just it's totally different. And I'm actually still learning about that.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, you're kind of put in a position where it's like, all right, now what? So I'm a little bit more sensitive to that because it's understandable.
So after the explant, how quickly were you back to normal in the sense of working out, living your life, getting to do all the things you were doing before you got implants?
Well, I was an eager beaver. As soon as I got out of a surgery and whatnot, you have the drains on, and
Yeah.
I have a high tolerance of pain, so I didn't feel any pain at all. I never took any
Crazy.
pain medication. I think I maybe took Advil like 2 or 3 times, and it was mainly just because of the headache maybe that I got
Yeah.
from just not resting well. But I was out and about with the drains on and everything, walking through the
Your
sidewalks and just
goals.
going to the mall. I'm like, I am not gonna like sit here and like wallow in this. I'm gonna be out there, and I know I'm gonna be okay. But working out was really, I love to work out, so I had to
Too.
wait about. I think Dr. Rankin made me wait like three 3 months or 2 months.
Yeah. It's 3 months, he says, for
3 months.
your pec muscles, but
Hmm.
everything like you can be walking and doing other things.
Walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first month you want to kind of be careful. You don't want to get your heart rate too high, which is hard for me.
Yeah.
Um, he's like, I'm gonna have to slow you down. You have to like, be nice to your body. Your body has gone through so much for your own fault. Make sure that the recovery you do it the
Yeah.
right way. So after 3 months, then he's like, okay, go, and then you could start, doing all these
How
things. And
weird did it feel
oh,
doing?
I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was scared because I'm like, can I stretch it? Yes. Okay, good. And just even doing stuff like that, you feel it a little bit,
Mhm.
but it goes away. Like your body just goes back to how it was before. Don't look at yourself after surgery. I don't know if you want to go. Yeah.
Okay, so that is a warning that I am so glad you just told me. Okay, so don't look at my
At
boobs.
yourself.
How
Yes.
long after surgery?
So after surgery, you have to go back to see Dr. Rankin
Hmm.
the second day, and then you either choose to see them or you don't, but he has to take off the bandage and he has to make sure, okay. So I didn't want to see mine. I'm like, nope, I know it's gonna look like a hot mess, and I don't want to
That's
see
fair.
myself. I don't want to traumatize myself. Just so happens that when I turned around, I forgot that he has like a mirror,
Yes.
and I ended up seeing myself, and I was like, what did I just do? Because, and I'm very honest about this because this was my biggest concern, and I spoke to many women that had explanted, and I told,
Hmm.
what does it look like? How's the scarring? My right one looked great. My left one looked like an elephant stomped on it, or like, or like I had gotten ran over by a car or something. It was like that's what it looked like to me. And
Then that day.
privately I'll send you a picture.
Okay.
But that day, the day right after, that's what it looked like. And I'm like, what is this? And I remember all the nurses, Dr. Rankin saying, this is not what it's gonna look like. You just went through surgery
Yeah.
and you had something
But
taken
it's still,
out. It's all swollen. It looks horrible, but I promise you, your boobs will go back to what they were.
which is
Trust
crazy.
me.
So that the Facebook group that I think you're into, Breast
Mhm.
Implant Illness by
Yes.
Nicole.
Yes.
There's so many women that shared their photos. It's thank God for them doing that because it does help. You see right after or 2 weeks later, whatever it is, and they all talk about how they basically fluff back up, which I
Yep.
think is like an actual miracle. How does it happen?
Yeah, the body, it's just amazing what the body can do. The body just goes back. It takes a process for
Hmm.
it to fluff. And again, every situation is different. Every body is
Of
different.
course.
People heal differently. So some better than others. For me, at first, I'm like I'm screwed. So, and the left one was really bad. Like he told me, I really had to go in there and like scrape a lot of stuff out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And
So
you didn't
he's
even
like,
have them in that long.
no.
That's what's
In
crazy.
3 years, I had 2 surgeries.
So
Breast.
your capsule. So, and I explain a little bit of this in each episode, but your body creates a scar tissue around your implant, almost as a way to protect your body from these things that just showed up inside. So your body's like,
Yeah.
well, I can't fight them out. I'm just going to create scar tissue around them. But
Right.
yours, the capsule that came out, was super thick.
Super thick. It looked like chicken, like breast of chicken. All it needed to do was to be, it was, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what is this that I had inside of me? And he also found like these sutures that were, I guess, holding the implant in place and that they were like green or something, very pointy. And Dr. Rankin is like, this could have loosened up. It could have punctured a lung. It could have
Like,
punctured
what?
your heart. Yeah.
And when they left those sutures in you, they didn't tell you, hey, just a heads up, we have these green things inside of you?
No, I didn't know I didn't know that those were put in.
Well, who knows what he's going to find in there when he goes in for mine?
Yeah.
No
I had
idea.
no idea.
You got a breast lift at the same time.
I did.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk about that process, because Dr. Rankin told me I may not need one, which is crazy to me because I've had these in there for 10 years and they've just been weighing down. So what was that conversation like during your consultation about deciding that?
Right. So he decides, I guess he knows what he's doing. So
He does.
he'll determine whether you do need a lift or not. Some women, if they breastfeed or whatever, sometimes it's a lot saggier or whatnot. So he'll suggest a breast lift. I didn't really have, I was always petite and small. So, and I guess he knew, given that I was very, the boobs were very hard and he would really have to scrape out a lot, I would lose tissue.
Okay.
And maybe that's why I would need the lift, and that's why he suggested it.
Yeah, and that's what I think.
Every situation is different. If you don't need a lift and he thinks you're fine, even better.
Yeah, and that's what I think is so great about him, is he's going to make extra money by doing the lift. But if he's telling some women you don't need it, then he's a great doctor.
Right. Yeah, he's not going to do anything that he doesn't have to do, and unless you tell him, no, I want it,
right,
he'll do it. But he's very honest. I remember when he first saw me and he told me, he's like, yeah, no, they're encapsulated. Doesn't matter what you do. It's you need to remove them.
Explain encapsulated for me.
Encapsulated is when the tissue gets hard, and that's why the tissue that your body's creating to protect, because it's a foreign thing, they don't recognize it, and it gets hard, and that's why my boobs were encapsulated, and they look like just
boulders,
this hard thing.
You kept your implants after he took them out?
Yes.
So you still have them?
I mean, I paid for them. I might as well keep them. And sometimes I'm like, okay, this could be a stress reliever now.
It could be. But when they came out, they were a bit wrinkly, right?
Completely wrinkly. And you know what's funny is that one of the implants, the texture is so much different than the other one. So the boob that was worse on my body, the texture of that implant does not feel the same as the other at all.
So is that they put two different ones in, or something happened to it inside?
That is the mystery that I don't know. I don't know if it was two different ones that they put in, or if it's because one of them, just because of what was going on in there, the texture changed.
Going back in time, would you still get the implants?
No. If I could go back in time, I would stop myself from getting them. I would do everything in the world to just be like, no, you don't need them. What are you doing?
Right.
You're fine.
Well, and even though you're not telling women don't get the implants, you've been very vocal publicly about your process. You post on Instagram, you've got your YouTube channel, you've been on NBC New York. They did a whole story about breast implant illness. Thanks to you, really. You've been on with Zen on WOR. because
Yep.
she also went through the same thing. So you've been out there telling your story. What has that response been like?
It's been amazing and fulfilling, actually, because so many women have reached out to me, with their concerns, asking me questions about the whole process and telling me their stories of how they're feeling and that they really now want to go through with explanting. And surprisingly, I have a lot of men reaching out to me,
I have
asking
been
me
too.
questions for their wives or for their girlfriends, which I think is really sweet because they see that their women are like, stressed out or they're in pain and they're not feeling like themselves. So that's been a big eye opener, and I'm so happy that I've been able to like help out not only like couples but women.
Yeah.
And some women have kids and they don't feel great, and it's like, I had one particular woman that she's like, I have two little girls, I don't feel like myself, I don't have energy, and I feel like I'm being a bad mother. And she went through with it, and she's like, I'm a whole new other person, I don't constantly feel guilty because I'm not, I don't have that same like lack of
Right.
energy and stuff like that. So,
Well, I'm one of those women that you have helped and will continue to help because I'm going to be texting you a million things. So I'm just apologizing for it in advance and
oh
thanking you
no,
in advance.
no need to apologize. I love to help. I love to give advice. Bromelain,
Oh,
pineapple,
yeah.
that's going to be your best friend. It definitely helps with the body and the healing. Lots of water,
Well,
and just positive attitude.
you have an incredible YouTube video. You sit down with your sister and your cousin who went through the surgery same day. And you guys, not only do you list out everything, I was taking screenshots because you were legit showing how you guys were set up in bed with the exact pillows that you use. So I'm taking screenshots of the videos to show my mom, like, Mom, we need to set up the bed like this when I'm recovering. So it's incredible what you guys did. That video really is amazing. Again, it's linked in the description of this podcast, and I'm going to put it in that Google Drive document that I have with all the information I've been talking about. All of it you can find in this description, but it's incredible what
Thank
what
you.
you did. That whole breakdown
Yeah.
is amazing. So,
I will say water is important because anesthesia causes constipation, and nobody likes that.
everyone talks about how that's one of the worst things after any surgery,
Yeah,
really. But yeah, explanting. So
and
good to know.
you wanna also try and eat healthy. Maybe you should always eat healthy,
Of
but
course.
especially before surgery, kind of like prep your body and start eating healthier things to just whatever toxins you have in your body, eliminate it.
I'm going to do a month before. I'm going to do like super serious, probably no drinking, none of it.
Nothing. No drinking. And you're not going to be able to drink afterwards too for at least 3 months. You want to be, your recovery
Okay, this was not part of, no one told me this.
Yes, you don't want to drink, while you're recovering because you're only going to delay it.
Okay. Well, that's probably the craziest thing I've heard today. Last thing I want to talk about randomly this week, I was thinking about, I think it was the very first time we met. And I don't know if you remember this. It was Scary Jones from Elvis Duran in the Morning Show took us all to it was like a bar or a club somewhere in New York City. And I remember meeting you and your sister, and I swear you were asking me about my implants. It was like I had this moment of meeting you and remembering that night, and I was like, I think she asked me about my implants that night. And that was probably, no joke, 9 years ago.
It was probably me.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I think that you did.
And now that you're saying that, yes. Yeah, because I had been wanting to get implants for a long time. And I even regretted that I waited until I was 30. I was like, I should have gotten them when I was 20. So yeah.
So I'm the reason you got them. Now you're the reason I'm getting them out. Thanks. Look at this.
Full circle.
Lala, thank you so much for sharing your story on here publicly with everyone. I'm going to put all of your information as well below so people can reach out to you. But just say your Instagram so that they know how to find it if they don't want to wait.
Okay, so my Instagram handle is @LuluYlala. That's LULUYLALA. Across all social media platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of that.
All of it.
Lulu and Lala, yeah. And I
Cool.
just want to say thank you for advocating and thank you for speaking out and doing what you're doing because it's important that us women help each other out. And
Yep.
I know that it's difficult when you're trying to make a decision and you're scared and not sure. It's so important to have videos like this
Yeah.
so that you become more knowledgeable and comfortable in that decision. So bravo to you.
Right back at you. And thank you.